2008 Acura TL Type S that's actually been built for the track, not something that you see every day. Owned by Kevin Lee. This is a very unique one-of-one build, and you can actually pick up an Acura TL Type S for about $10,000 to $20,000 on the market today, but obviously he's done a lot of mods. Let me give you a quick peek inside. That's the level of prep that we're talking about. But more on that in a second. We're powered by the 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 single overhead cam with VTEC. That's the J35A8 engine, making 286 horsepower, 256 pound-feet of torque. This is front-wheel drive, unlike the next generation that came after that did give you the super handling all-wheel drive. This generation was front-wheel drive only, made it to a 6-speed manual transmission with an LSD. Keep in mind, you can also go with a 5-speed automatic torque converter, but that's going to come with an open diff. We're weighing in around 3,700 pounds stock, but with the mods here, we're probably closer to 35. We have double wishbone front, multi-link rear, and the Type S gives you, mechanically, these Brembo 4-piston front brakes, sport-tuned suspension with stiffer mounts, revised sway bars, and increased spring rates with 17-inch 10-spoke alloy wheels. And then in terms of exterior flair, you got the Type S bumpers, black chrome trim, wider side sills, unique lighting, and on the interior, sport seats, which the owner has swapped out, but they normally have the embossed logo, aluminum carbon fiber look trim, and stainless steel pedals, along with red ambient lighting and a navigation system. But the mods the owner has done here, the full mod list, as always, is down in the description. What you need to know today, we have BC Racing coilovers, various suspension supporting mods, Brembo and PowerStop pads front and rear, with PowerStop drilled and slotted rotors, strut bar, Enke RPF1 17x9 wheels, wrapped in General Mack RS Performance tires in a 255 section width. And this very much gives me the early 2000s tuner kind of look. And getting into the driver's seat as well, completely removed all the trim in the middle there in the center console. And I actually think that the shifter with all these exposed mechanical bits looks pretty cool. I'm a fan. I dig it. Now, one issue I've had is that the seat actually doesn't stay put. So I want to sit all the way back here. So the seat slides, but it doesn't lock in. So I was driving up, and then when I got hard on the brakes, the whole seat slid down. And then I thought I got it locked here in the center position, but then on the throttle, I went wide open throttle, and then the whole seat slid back. So I'm a little bit sketched out, but hopefully we got the seat locked now, although the heel toe is going to be compromised as a result. And we got traction off. Oh boy, even on the straights you're getting tons of torque steer. Wow, there too. Slower ratio steering rack. You know, the interesting thing though is that you have some road texture, some feedback through the wheel, because I believe this is hydraulic. Correct me if I'm wrong with the comment below. But then you have a lot of slop to the wheel. It's a pretty slow ratio, and the torque steer corrupts that signal. So if you're going over the road like this and not giving it throttle or just having maintenance throttle, you can actually feel a good amount of road texture. Heel toe there wasn't too bad. The throttle response is at least natural, if a bit sluggish. Oh, you can really feel all the way to the front though. It does not want to change direction. And by removing all the weight here, you can feel that weight balance even more shifted forward than normal. Getting some chirp from the tires. Oh wow, tons of torque steer right there. Oh my goodness. You can feel the LSD trying to do its thing, but it's clearly not as sophisticated as something like a more modern Type R, Type S. And it's still a lot less power and torque, yet because of the suspension architecture, the design, we still are getting quite a bit of torque steer. Oh wow, it's so noticeable. The engine note at least is nice and forward, not too loud, sounds decent enough. Ooh, excess bounce there, BC coilovers. You know, more budget friendly, but you get what you pay for in a way. little bit harsh initial impact, and then they tend to be bouncy as well after larger bumps. They don't quite set the way you want. Let's give you a pull. Getting on the brakes, so actually feeling hints of ABS there. The first initial inch or so to the brake pedal gives you nothing, and then it slowly builds. Still a bit softer of a feel than I would like, but you have to remember, at the end of the day, this is a TL. This wasn't designed for bombing the canyons. This was just a slightly sportier but comfortable saloon for you to go to work in, take your family around. And the owner, Kevin, has modified this to actually do track work in it, which I think is really cool, because you don't see these in this use case. You don't see them modified in this way. And perhaps there are some reasons why, you know, the weight, there are a lot of compromises and limitations that you have to overcome. And even with mods, there's only so much you can do. But it is truly a unique driving experience. Gotta be careful here with the heel toe. So far I've been nailing the heel toes, but by being closer, I'm just a little bit cautious. Oh yeah, you can really feel the front end wanting to just carry that inertia forward and not change direction. Wow, tons of torque steer. Oh, LSD helping us actually get the power down and rotate there. That was actually impressive. This LSD is inconsistent though. Sometimes it wants to help put the power down and help you turn, and other times it feels like it doesn't. I find myself having to saw at the wheel a bit to see what's happening at the front end, because you have more of that slop, slower ratio, and a lot of that torque steer. But I love this shifter. This short shift kit is it's so tight. There's not much slop. Shorter throws, pretty mechanical, but not overly so. It reminds me actually of some sim racer shifters, in a good way though. Some of the higher end ones that I've used on the sim rig at friends' houses and such. With older cars, the inputs are also a bit slower and longer, right? Brake pedal, a lot of throw. Throttle, a little bit sluggish, but at least it's a nice linear response. The shifter is actually the most modern thing, the sportiest thing in terms of inputs. Steering as well. Just look at the level of input I need to get around these corners. In terms of power to weight, you know, this car it's not super quick, but it's also not terribly sluggish. Having an extra 30 to 50 horsepower would make this feel a bit more balanced, but I also am cautious to suggest that because it already has so much torque steer. It feels like a handful. You add more power, more torque to the front wheels, that's only going to make that problem worse. Yeah, the suspension pretty bouncy at the rear end. Over some of the larger bumps on the way up, it almost felt like it was bottoming out. You know, that big crash at the back. Hello, 718 GT4. Oh, 997 GT3, let's go. Now the owner, Kevin, I'll actually set the dampers a bit softer than normal too. Let's give you guys a pull. Oh my god, this torque steer, man. Alright, these guys are gonna come over. That's called defensive driving right there. So, yeah, we actually set the dampers in a softer setting because the road is bumpy, but I think adding a few more clicks would actually make it feel a little bit more planted. You know, BC coilovers do tend to have a little bit of excess bounce, and we're running into that issue here as well. Bigger bump. Yeah, right after that. Yeah, see right there, a bit excess motion. But you know, sometimes we get these cars that have sentimental value. They are maybe gifted to us from parents, or we buy them when we're at a different part in our lives, and then as our tastes evolve, we want the car to follow the trend with us and grow and evolve with us. And I think that's what the owner, Kevin, has done here. He's taken this car from stock and built it in a way that aligns with his interests. Now, again, there are reasons why you don't see more of these TL Type S's that are heavily modified and taken to the track and bombing canyons and things like that. And sure, there are some limitations, but the cool thing is that you have like a one-of-one build. And this car, whatever value, sentimental or otherwise it has, you're taking that and helping it grow with you in a way that you get more enjoyment and more experience out of the car. And I think when you view it through that lens, rather than just chasing, you know, whatever competencies or lap times, etc., then you can really enjoy and appreciate what these cars are, because they truly are unique and truly are one-of-one. Big shout out to the owner, Kevin, for letting me review his Acura TL Type S. If you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in that next one.